Go get on the track.
Welcome to Convinced and Confident. My name is Sarah Gilmore, and my co-host is Tamara Bluedorn. And each week we bring to you an inspiring message or person that will help you on your journey to self-discovery.
Dr. Dennis Royal is our guest today, and he has a Doctor of Chiropractic with an office in Fayetteville. He is originally from Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. He is a veteran of the U.S. Army and holds a psychology degree from North Carolina A&T State University. In addition, he is also a graduate of Life University, where he received his chiropractic degree. Although Dr. Royal grew up in a small town in North Carolina, it never stopped him from dreaming big. He runs a busy chiropractic office while at the same time serving others. He has been on many medical missions in places such as Ghana, Ecuador, Togo, Bosnia, Dominican Republic, just to name a few. He has been married to Janine for 19 years, and they have 3 children. So, Dr. Royal, we thank you for joining us today. I think I would like to start with, you're a doctor of chiropractic. I think I would like for our listeners to know exactly what that is and what that means.
A doctor of chiropractic is one who has studied the art, science, and philosophy of chiropractic. It's normally a 4-year postgraduate degree, and it normally takes anywhere from 4 years to 5 academic years to complete the program. Once you complete that program and you've taken the state and the national board where you practice, then you become a licensed chiropractor. And a chiropractor is a person who treats the body from the perspective that the nervous system is the master system that controls and coordinates all the functions of the body. And when that system is operating at optimal level, then the body tends to heal itself, which is what it's designed to do in the first place.
Okay. How did you get started in that? Because I see you have a degree in psychology from A&T University. So how do you go from psychology to chiropractic?
Well, actually, it's a strange journey. Whenever I was in North Carolina A&T and I was nearing graduation, I had an offer to go to Appalachian State to do to gain a master's or a doctor level in psychology. I had my life took a drastic turn. And of course, one of the things I was going to do is go back into the military, and I did. I went to my school, and when I got out of my school, which is called Advanced Officer Basic Course, when I got out of my Officer Basic Course, I had just a change of heart. My mother was going to a chiropractor in Clinton, North Carolina, and he sent a notice to her house, and I was kind of sorting through the mail to give it to her. And I read his notice. He was inviting her to come in for a visit. So I picked up the notice and said, what is this chiropractic stuff? And so I called the office myself, and I asked could I come by and visit with him and, learn more about the science, art, and philosophy of chiropractic. At the time, just to learn more about chiropractic. So he invited me over, went over and visited with Dr. Tim Kosman in Clinton. Him and his father worked in a family practice together. It was him and his father. His father started practice, and he was second or third generation chiropractor. And they took me under their wing and started, inviting me to chiropractic and showing me about what they did. It became very interesting to me. And then he sent me to one of his buddies, Dr. Greg Baldy in Raleigh, talked to him. And then I went out on my own. And when I went back to Greensboro, I was still at North Carolina A&T State University. And so I met with another doctor, Dr. Mailer. And they all had the same story. That was what was impressive about it, how the body heals itself, how, them through the changing or the adjusting of the spine can cause the nervous system to work better and the person's health to be restored. This was foreign to me because I've always known when you're sick, take something, or when you're hurting, take something, or go get surgery, go to the hospital, go to a medical doctor. But I never really heard anybody talk about going to a chiropractor. And I started seeing the volume of people that were seeing who were getting better. So I became very interested in the field of chiropractic from that point.
That is so amazing to me how you went from psychology, which is working with the mind, and to now you see how to heal the body through chiropractic services or chiropractic care.
Yes.
Our topic today is don't knock small beginnings. You're from a small town, Clinton, North Carolina. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And yet you were interested in something that could take you from there. How did you go to dream big like that? Even though you were working with these people, still there had to be something in you that wanted more than what you could find in a smaller town.
Well, I grew up in Clinton, North Carolina. Actually, I didn't grow up in Clinton itself. As a small child, we lived in the city limits. And about the age of 5, we moved out into the country, a little community called Mount Pleasant. And it's a little farming community. And my grandfather had a farm. And so most of my days were spent hanging out with him and working on the farm. He had hogs, he had cows, he had, land. He grew corn, he grew tobacco, he grew dewberries, they called them then. He grew pickles, he grew pepper, and all these type of things. And so I found myself working with him daily, especially during the summer days. And after school, I was working with him as well, just down there in the way, watching him and helping him. He had me doing little stuff. And I was driving by the age of 6, driving tractor and helping my grandfather out. Okay. So I guess I just learned how to dream big. I always had a great imagination of, what I wanted to do. And I always thought big. I was always one that took chances. Daredevil at that time, jumping out of barns and starting fires and all kind of stuff like that. So I was a very adventurous person. Excellent. And it's always been in my mind to not let where I came from or where I come from dictate where I'm going.
Excellent. Would you still say that same thing to young people today? Because that's something we're taught to get an education. We come out of a high school, go get an education. But I don't hear anybody talking about this kind of service. And it seems to be a very needed service. As a matter of fact, I've had it before. I've limped into your office many days and walked out upright. So it's an excellent service. I can tell you that. Who are the people who actually need this service, though? What are the conditions?
It's from the cradle to the grave, because as a chiropractor, I treat all kinds. I treat babies. I treat the oldest patient I think I've ever had is like 95 years old, and the youngest like a couple hours. So it's not a thing that you treat a condition. What you're working with is you're working with the nervous system. The nervous system is the master system that controls and coordinates all the functions of the body. So whenever the body is not functioning properly, if you can get the nervous system to operate at its highest capacity, the body has the capacity to heal itself. It's a self-healing, self-regulating, self-monitoring organism. And whenever those systems are in place and are working at their highest capacity, then the body expresses health at its highest level.
Okay, I see.
And I'm, I guess, what would you say? A believer in it, because I've been to your practice before from all of the workouts that I do. And I have had the corrections made and do much better once I walk out of your office. But my one question is, I've spoken with people before about chiropractic care, and some are apprehensive about it. What would you say to those persons that are apprehensive, not sure, or you know how people just hear those stories of they're going to crack my neck, they're going to do this, and it's like, what would you say?
I would say that you know, anytime you looking for something different, you're gonna experience something different, and a lot of times the information you get is bad information. Most of the people who have the fear have never tried it, and the ones who tell them to be scared have never tried it. They've never been to a chiropractor. You know, and chiropractors are different. They're like hairdressers. They're like barbers. You have good ones, you have bad ones. And so anybody in any profession can either be good or bad unless you try someone else or you've been referred to someone else. You wouldn't know that until you try something different. So I think that you have to have a level of confidence in the person that you're allowing to work on you as a chiropractor or as an MD or as a dentist or anyone. But you must have some level of confidence. I believe they have a level of confidence to be able to handle your situation. Now, the fear, it's hard to get over fear because people have fear of driving. People have fear of churches. People have fear of, believing, that they can do certain things. So fear, I don't know how to get over that. You just got to tell them what you know, and they're just going to have to believe that you can help them. But chiropractic is really not a belief system. I believe that Christ is a belief system. Chiropractic is a scientific form of healing that deals with the natural recuperative powers of the body that have been studied over, tens and hundreds of years.
Okay. You know, you're right now, your practice is in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and you have a very nice practice from what I can see with quite a few clients or patients, as you would call them. But was this your first practice?
My first practice was in Dillon, South Carolina. I was in Dillon, South Carolina from 2002 to 2003. I was also in the military at the same time. I was serving in the reserve forces. So when the war of Iraq broke out, I was called to duty. So I had to close that practice to go over it and serve my country for 14 months. So once I returned back from that service, then I opened the practice in Fayetteville, which I'm currently in.
How many patients, if you don't mind our asking, do you think you might have at this point? Because you've got a busy office, which is wonderful.
Well, in my data bank, I have over 5,500 patients.
That's excellent. That's an excellent size.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's still growing. That was the last look, and that was a few months ago. I probably have about 5,700 patients right now.
Excellent.
Now, we also know that you do mission work. We would like to hear a little bit about that. Tell us what you do, and do you use your chiropractic training when you do your mission work, or is this completely different?
I started mission work in 1999. My first mission, I went on a solo mission. My pastor asked me if I would go to Africa with him. And I said, sure. I mean, at the time, I was a fledgling chiropractic. I was in chiropractic school. I think I was in 97. I was in my second year. And I said, okay. So I scrounged up the money from somewhere and got on a plane and went to Ghana, West Africa. And then I started using my hands. Here I was a student, really probably wasn't truly qualified to go out and serve that number of people, but I was in student clinic. So I did have some level of expertise in the field of chiropractic. So I went out and I saw hundreds in a day. It kind of started from there. And since then, I've been on some 25 mission trips to Ghana, West Africa, Togo, West Africa, Liberia, West Africa. I've been to Haiti. I've been to the Dominican Republic. I've been to Ecuador. I've been to Guatemala. I've been to Taiwan. So I've been to all these different places. Plus, I've been to Bosnia. I've been to Croatia, Hungary, as well as Iraq and Kuwait. Because when I travel with my military, I also do chiropractic. So I never separate the two because I always take it with me. Everywhere I go, even when I deployed to Iraq, my soldiers made me a table. So I still did the same mission work in my off time. Not only treating soldiers, but also treating the third country nationals that work with the U.S. government. So it's always, everywhere I go, I take it with me.
Now, my question is, what makes you want to serve in that capacity? Because you're already serving, because you're a great chiropractor.
Yes.
But you have this passion to serve. Why do you have this passion, or what makes you have that drive?
Well, and I learned this from not only my pastor, but I learned this from the founder of my school, Dr. Sid Williams, my pastor, Bishop Chester Acock. It says, give, love, and serve out of your abundance. Mm-hmm. I've been granted with the abundance of skills in chiropractic. And, I really work on my skills and I focus on my skills and I try to always hone my skills. And I feel that, I always have something to give back. If it's not, a touch, it's a word. If it's not a word, it's an adjustment. If it's not an adjustment, it's a confidence that I try to give people because I needed it at one time. And if I could touch people around the world, that's my goal. It's to continue to touch people around the world with what's been given to me. It wasn't freely given to me, but I freely give it away.
Excellent. Is that the only service that you offer from your office?
No, I also do acupuncture. I'm certified in acupuncture. I do some therapeutic modalities that we use in chiropractic. For the most part, those are the two things I do. I do acupuncture and I do chiropractic. But, there's a whole bunch of things that entails. But it allows me to expand my level of healing when dealing with people in different circumstances.
So my question is, what brought the country boy from, you said Mount Pleasant, to where he is today? What is carrying you on your journey for your...
It's vision. You know, it says people die for lack of vision. They perish because of it. And I've always had a vision, and I still have a vision. I still haven't reached the maximum capacity of my vision. So, you know, my vision is continue to grow, is to continue to expand. As I continue to go around the world, when I get out there and I get back, I'm tired, and I still work, and so now I want to do it again. But there's something inside of me that tells me, hey, it's not over. This is just the beginning. So I just continue to push forward. You know, my family, sometimes they sacrifice because I'm traveling all over the world to help other people. But I think as they get older, they're starting to kind of be more involved with what I'm doing. So I hope to take my oldest on the trip with me this summer. And then as my other ones get older, they'll do the same thing. So I want them to be exposed to serving. You know, you give, love, and serve out of what you have, not what you want or what you need.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what would your advice be to a young person today to keep them motivated for their goals?
You know, don't despise humble beginnings. You know, no matter where you are right now, no matter where you're starting from, as long as you got a vision and a drive, you can do anything in life. You know, don't let anything hold you back. Sometimes you get caught up in the grind of things. In other words, the daily grind of doing it. But if you have a vision and you have a plan, it's going to be a grind. It's not going to be easy because there's always going to be forces that counter what you want to do. But you have to be able, you have to have the dogma to push through those resistance. And when you push through the resistance, just like passing through the birth canal, when you pass through that resistance, it not only shapes you, but it allows you to breathe well because of, you know, babies that pass through the birth canal, they're able to have a level of breathing, and it helps the lungs to develop just passing through that birth canal. Don't ask me how miraculously it happened, but it does. So whenever you pass through resistance, it allows you to breathe and to see, you know, more and to do more. So you have to pass resistance.
I would totally agree. I think a lot of people get caught up in they're not seeing the results, or they can't see how something is going to happen for themselves. So they give up too early on their goal, vision, or, you know, whatever that is they truly wanted to do. So I like that word there for someone.
It sounds very much, Dr. Royal, like your faith has carried you from the beginning up until now.
It has. My faith has been very important to me. I thank God that I had, you know, two loving parents that allowed me to dream, even outside of what they could imagine. And they didn't stand in my way. In fact, I was really encouraged when my dad, when I was getting about middle ways through college, I was probably a sophomore, and I was riding my dad. My dad was a truck driver. He just passed on. Him and my mother both passed in 2017. And I was riding with him in his truck. He drove a local truck, and I was riding with him from Clinton to Fayetteville. We were talking. I said, you know what, Dad? I think I want to go to school to do something different. I said, I think I want to be a chiropractor. And he looked at me and said, go for it. Really? And from there, that was kind of like the confirmation I needed. So sometimes in life, we need someone that would just speak a word to us. And if we could take that word and move on it, you know, you can change. You may not change the world, but you can change your garden that you live in.
Oh, I like that. I like that. So my last question, unless Ms. Gilmore, do you have something else you would like to ask?
Excellent.
Is what makes you a convinced and confident person?
Because you are convinced and confident. Anytime I've been to your office, I can tell that you are convinced and confident. What makes you that way?
I guess is getting through failures. I've had some failures. I've had some downgrades in my life. I had to go up against some challenges. And I guess to keep pushing through, and sometimes you get knocked down, and sometimes you don't get up the same way you got knocked down, but you got to keep getting up. And, you know, I learned this in a message that I heard over in Ghana in 1999. And, you know, my bishop said, if you get knocked down, if you can look up, you can get up. So I always keep looking up. I keep looking up beyond myself and beyond the sky. And I know there's a God that says, hey, you have a purpose in your life. And if I could just hold on to that, even, you know, when the money's not coming in, the patient's not coming in, or, I'm in the grind of everyday practice. If I can just look up, I can get up and I can go and do something for somebody else.
That's our show, and we thank you for listening. If you like our show, Convinced and Confident, please leave us a rating and download us on Apple Podcasts and Google Play.